Greetings. Thank you, those of you who have gone before me. I am very inspired already. We could probably stop here and it'd be really fine, but I'll talk anyway. I think what I have to say builds on what you guys are already talking about, which is exciting. Today, I want to talk about bringing service-based learning to incarcerated college students. Earning a college degree provides individuals with untold benefits. Some of these benefits are academic. Academic benefits are easily delivered to incarcerated students: writing and communication, critical thinking, and research methods, to give a few examples. Incarceration, however, keeps some life-changing benefits of a college education out of reach. In particular, incarcerated students do not have access to the kinds of benefits that come with service-based learning courses. These benefits include practical experience, a sense of purpose, and access to professional networks. If academic benefits are the bones, these extracurricular benefits afforded by service-based learning are the muscles, heart, and lungs. While the bones of academic learning are absolutely critical, education becomes a living, breathing, corporeal experience when put into real-world endeavors and relationships. Thus, we arrive at a dilemma. Without the tutelage of service-based learning, how will our incarcerated students enjoy the full benefits of a college education? Again, I'm not to denigrate academics. Trust me, I'm an academic who loves academics almost as much as gardening. More on gardening in a minute. When colleges deliver academic benefits alone, do we not run the risk of giving diplomas to skeletons? How can educators and administrators of college programs in prison increase access to the formational benefits of service-based learning? In my presentation today, I will share simple but hopefully inspiring examples of my engagement with this question and some creative solutions that are emerging. I am by no means an expert. I'm a novice. I have probably much more to learn from you all than you could possibly learn from me. But here we go anyway. Have you read the mission statement of your college? I hope the answer is yes. The college mission statement is the place where the college names the telos, or ultimate purpose, of a college education. Frequently, such mission statements identify, alongside academic achievement, the aspiration to form the student's character and purpose and to engender purposeful engagement or service of community. For example, my institution, Holy Cross College at Notre Dame, aspires to form, quote, global citizens who have, quote, competence to see and courage to act. With this telos in mind, Holy Cross College requires students to complete a community-focused, service-based learning course titled The Common Good Practicum. In this course, significant learning happens outside of the classroom, in homeless shelters, after-school programs, and food co-ops around our town, South Bend, Indiana. This learning can be difficult to quantify and difficult to grade, but it can be life-changing. Students find purpose. Students discover where their passions and talents intersect with the needs of the world. Students find people to mentor them and to develop their careers. When I was a college student, by requirement, I ended up volunteering at a retirement home near campus. The home, like a prison, had locked front doors and sally ports. The sour smell of industrial cleaner is still vivid in my memory. The residents, largely forgotten by society, served their end-of-life sentences, sometimes without visitor. My job was simply to go sit with people and talk to them, hear their stories, and sing songs with them. Though seemingly insignificant, easily forgotten like a dropped mustard seed, these visits brought energy and purpose to my academics. Psychology, history, theology, their grayscale lessons suddenly illuminated in technicolor. The mustard seed grew into a great tree. I wanted to make a world where the elderly are given dignity. If only I could take my incarcerated students on a field trip to a retirement home, wouldn't they view Moses, Aristotle, Bentham, and Kant differently? Holy Cross College houses the Moreau College Initiative. That's my program, which offers associate and bachelor degrees to students incarcerated at our nearby prison, Westville Correctional Facility. In addition to my role as the assistant director of MCI, I teach that required service-based learning course I mentioned, the Common Good Practicum. When my director asked me to teach the Common Good Practicum to our incarcerated students, we spent some time brainstorming ways to adapt this course for college behind bars. How do we recreate the off-campus service-based learning and formation of the course without leaving the classroom, let alone the prison? Crucial to answering this question is making as vivid as possible the often invisible benefits of service-based learning. In her 2019 dissertation on education, Maria Rice offers a succinct literature review of the benefits of service-based learning. Such learning promotes not only academic performance, but also, quote, self-efficacy, personal growth, development of social and environmental responsibility and citizenship skills, and development of life skills, career development. Service-based learning fosters well-rounded citizens, promoting growth in 4 areas: cognitive, behavior, emotional, and social engagement. Wow, isn't this exactly what we want to give to our students? I would argue that incarcerated students who are to be returning citizens someday might need the formation afforded by service-based learning more than the traditional student. To create an approximation of service-based learning for my Common Good Practicum in prison, I began with a list of individuals and organizations in the South Bend community who would make good long-term partners with MCI. Since my students could not make site visits, I invited community members to visit my classroom. This past year, being limited to the pandemic, I invited people to Zoom interviews. The class visits offered students the chance to learn about community needs in South Bend, how organizations are meeting those needs, and how individuals can get involved to help. The conversation ignited by class visits illustrated that ideas discussed in class have real consequences in society. Moses, Aristotle, Bentham, and Kant aren't just great thinkers. For better or worse, their musings are the invisible architecture of our moral imaginations and public policy. Moreover, through class visits, the students widened their professional networks, meeting community members with whom they might one day volunteer, intern, or even work, or who might help them make further connections. I want to describe to you one of these visits so that you can appreciate the effect that the class visits had on my students. I invited Mike Hotelling to join my class. He is an assisting director of Hope Ministries, which offers long-term housing and services for folks that are housing insecure in South Bend. My students were floored to meet him and to hear about the work of Hope. Through describing the physical space and people of Hope, Mike took us on a mental, perhaps virtual tour of the campus. We could imagine ourselves and people we love living at Hope, seeing with our mind's eye a community nurtured and healed brought an urgency to our class discussions. Getting the common good right is massive. Souls hang in the balance. Now, Mike is just a regular guy. He's not a capital D doctor or professor or expert, but he's got a few priorities right. And because of this, real humans are finding life. These facts about Mike were part of the magic of his visit. My students could imagine themselves as contributors to the common good. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to master the 5-paragraph essay. Suddenly, the common good is not just theoretical. It's something even I could nurture. Learning about discipline at Hope Ministries was particularly impactful. There are very few rules at Hope. Basically, don't do anything harmful. When problems arise, there are no punishments, no penalties, no timeouts. Nobody gets chewed out. Instead, problems are dealt with through self-reflection and community conversation. Given our context in class, this approach to discipline was laughable. My students literally laughed out loud, first because it was ridiculous and impossible. Second, because it was too good to be true. A seed was planted, a mustard seed perhaps. The world didn't have to be the way it was, and they could be part of its transformation. Such class visits brought urgency to student work. Students were required to design their own service-based learning project that sought to benefit their immediate community in the prison or another outside community. Designing the project required research, planning, and perhaps most importantly, a change in perspective. Although incarcerated, they did not have to wait to make a difference on society. I tell them, everyone has excuses why they don't work for the common good here and now. Students are always too busy, parents too tired, professionals too beholden to their careers. While incarceration puts enormous limitations to executing their projects, the designing process gave their imaginations early release. Here are some ideas they dreamed up, researched, and fine-tuned. A plot of family land transformed into a community garden. An inner city art center for youth focused on performative arts. A community group for those whose loved ones are behind bars. A free bookshelf for every juvenile probation office. In short, developing a service learning project fostered in my students courage to act, to return to the language of Holy Cross College's mission statement. One more story. Our college in prison has a half-acre garden that produces thousands of pounds of food, which we donate to food banks in northern Indiana. This year, I have been redesigning my common good course with a focus on food and gardening. To emulate the service-based learning, I've been collecting folks from South Bend who are involved in urban gardening, regenerative farming, and food justice. These individuals are excited to meet my students and to share with them the joys and struggles of growing food justly. Hopefully this summer, my students and I will learn about gardening and justice, work the land together, and build relationships with the gardeners of South Bend. These few examples are only a taste of the feast I'm attempting to bring, the feast of the benefits of service-based learning to my students. I hope it has been a little bit inspiring to you. And I look forward to hearing more ideas from you guys. In closing, let me just reiterate that college education at its best is much more than a great transference of knowledge, even life-changing knowledge. If that were the case, we might as well donate great courses DVDs and be done with it. Shoot, there are well-funded YouTubers that can explain Moses, Aristotle, Bentham, and Kant much better than I can. I will never be that slick or sexy. College education at its best must include the development of real relationships with community members on and off campus. It must include opportunities to put into practice ideas considered in class. This is one reason why correspondence learning this year or tablet learning will never approach the quality of face-to-face learning, let alone community-focused, service-based learning on and off a traditional college campus. College education at its best forms the whole person and blesses the whole of society.